here's the 4 buckets that are related to the career. Okay, first you got to get certified. Okay, then you have to build the soft skills necessary to become a good captain. Okay, and this is all of them, from communication to practicing ADM and CRM. We learn about all the EMs in class over here. We learn about them, but putting them into practical application, that's the on-the-job training that everybody tends to learn. And so you can learn some models of conflict resolution and those types of things here. Okay, but just being a good human and following good moralistic and good values within yourself will steer you in the right direction without any course if you're a good enough person. And there will be challenges that you won't have an answer to, and people will cut corners around you, and you'll wonder how to handle those people so that they are receptive and so that they change their behavior to your nerdy ways. And that is a challenge, a very big challenge. The third bucket in this career field is the interview preparation. This is how to sell your phase 1 and phase 2 skills and abilities, and how to present it in a way where you don't sound like you're bragging about yourself, and yet they want to hire you on the interview. We're talking about like making Hollywood stories, essentially Hollywood movies, right? And there is a structure behind a good plot, right? And that's what we're going to kind of discuss today. And then after you get hired, you will then enter the world of jets, or the world of turbine aircraft of some sort, most likely, and you're going to have to complete new hire training, and it's a totally different career field, all in itself. Part 135 and especially Part 121, I made the mistake of showing up on day 1 simulators thinking I was supposed to learn something, and that is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to show up proving what you've already read somewhere in an SOP or a FCOM or a GOM. Okay, and if you don't know what those terms are, this is the course for you when it comes time to get there. Don't stress out about that just yet. So today, I've underlined this in red. Today we're going to cover one of those elements in the interview preparation, and it's going to be the storytelling framework. I talk about waves. Let me just I have to provide a little bit of a context here. There are hiring waves based on uncontrollable external factors. Okay, you've got economy, you've got manufacturer problems, you have airline leadership issues, you have if they decide to structure their airline borrowing versus buying the equipment. Are they borrowing money? Do they own gates? There's all types of things that will influence an airline's growth. Okay, and that sometimes hinges upon the airline. It also hinges upon so many external factors, such as COVID, such as the age of people, such as when did TWA go out of business. There's a lot of influences that will throw us into hiring waves. But an airline's goal is to have baseline attrition. That means nobody's quitting or dying or getting DUIs, and nobody is applying. And they don't need to hire a bunch of HR people to interview those folks, because that cuts into the bottom line pretty heavily, right? And so we have these ebbs and flows inside of the career. If you happen to start training at the end of a wave, that is a very, very good thing, because then you can build your time and build all your experience, and then you can come in here and you can grab a nice opportunity at the front side of a wave, which will then boost your seniority as everyone else gets hired in behind you. Okay, and that's why we're doing interview prep, so I can make you sound competitive, so that if you are presented with the opportunity because you meet the qualifications, if you are competitive here, then you will have very little chance of getting rejected and having to start all over and come in on the tail end of the wave. So let's talk about why that's bad. So there's two points in the industry where it's kind of hard to get in. Okay, that's these diamonds. The good diamond, the yellow diamond, is it's very hard to get in because it's very competitive, because there's some hiring, but there's more applicants than they are hiring. Okay, so you have to become very, 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 very competitive. And then it's like sometimes hiring exceeds supply. And this is this taboo pilot shortage word that gets thrown around, and it seems like it swings every 2 weeks. Oh, pilot shortage. Oh, it's a myth buster, right? And so sometimes you just need to meet the bare minimum qualifications. You can get a major airline job, and without really being able to prove your interview stories and things like that. And it's like getting hired with a pulse, those kind of things, right? And then at the tail end of the wave, it starts getting competitive again. But this is a red diamond, because if you get in here, then your seniority will not move for a period of several years or several decades, depending on how the wave goes. And so if you get in right here, you could potentially be working weekends and holidays until the next wave comes. And that is all on external factors. So the reason for this slide is to motivate you to spend a lot of time and energy. It's a full-time job, acquiring a full-time job, and I want you to treat it that way so you can get here. And then you can get every weekend and every holiday off, and you can start a family, and you can do things that you otherwise would not be able to do over here. It's very, very difficult to raise kids if you're at home 4 nights a month and gone the rest of the time as a commuter, because you can't hold the base you want, because you can't get anyone's holidays, birthdays, and all that stuff off, okay? So let that be the warning. Before we get into the Gregory, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Captain, huh? You got it. Oh, ATP and captain. Yes. Round of applause, everybody. Gregory's a unrestricted ATP and just recently became a PIC, a 121 PIC. Congratulations.